Friends, how are you doing? I hope everyone is well. Let's talk about D-Wave. Let's talk about Soundhound. And first, I'll go right into Soundhound here. So, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate that. My second little new channel here. This thing is doing better than I expected. It's nice just to be a little relaxed and talk about some more integral things here with the stock market, some particular things that maybe not everybody's looking at or talking about. So, talking about Soundhound particularly here, I still think that, Soundhound is becoming more and more. I said this all last year, the beginning of this year, and I mean it even more now. That Soundhound here is becoming more and more this dark horse where it is proving to have multiple layers attached to it as a stock, as a company, what's going on with it. And the reason why I say that is because last year was fundamentally just an amazing year with Soundhound. This year we start off pretty rocky. I was like, oh man, what's going on here with Soundhound? And then with this last quarterly that we just saw here with Soundhound, I mean, we went from a rainy day for a few months there to oh my god. I mean, because if you don't know, they just came out with this Q4 of 2024 was the biggest quarterly the company had ever produced, and all of 2024 they had an amazing year with deals, investments, all that kind of stuff. But when Q1 of this year came, it was still an okay quarterly, but they missed it right under less than $200 million. But nonetheless, it was like, okay, and it was quiet in Soundhound camp. We weren't hearing about a lot of deals. We weren't hearing about a lot of movement. It was like, what's going on over here? Now, Q2 for 2025 here, the company released the biggest quarterly they have ever produced for them as a company. Coming in at $42.68 million, obliterating expectations of what happened here. So Soundhound, needless to say, is killing it. I mean, they are killing it. it is a phenomenal stock that people need to pay attention to. And it's I think a lot of people right now are very attached to this particular thing with AI stocks in the market right now, which is totally fine and understandable, but it's obviously security stocks that AI stocks that are pushing into security, defense, Palantir being a big part of the conversation, Big Bear being a big part of the conversation. A lot of people are looking at C3, even though C3's had a little bit of trouble here. There's many more stocks, that are in that conversation, but Soundhound is kind of just making its own road here. It doesn't really attach itself to those kind of conversations or those things because it's doing its own thing, and it doesn't have defense contracts. It doesn't have ties to the government as of right now. It has a lot of these just random itemized deals with fast food chain companies, car companies, and other little just random knick-knack partnerships. But still, nonetheless, they're bringing in crazy deals. They have a lot of different companies they work with, and last year we saw them into this year to break into the European market as well. So they're becoming a global company, and they're moving at a fast rate. So the thing right now with Soundhound that's really kind of hard to judge and hard to say, and I'm talking about them as someone who's been with this company for a while now and who just, I'm completely in love with what they're doing and what they've done. I mean, it's been such a time of growth with this company. I mean, I literally started buying this company when it was like $1.50, $2, and now it's done all this. So the thing that we're seeing right now is that we're in this whole new pattern of revenue wealth with the company. And, I think, I asked myself this as someone who is taking the time, taking the money, all this kind of stuff with Soundhound to sit here with it and ponder what's going on with it. I go, well, we're in this whole new stream of revenue. How much further can we go with this? And, it's a question of, do you take the money now and run? Have they kind of pushed what they've done, what they're going to do here? I don't know if I would say that. I think a lot of people, when Q1 of 2025 happened here, I know a few people, particularly just like, people that I know personally were like, I'm not liking what I'm seeing here with these quarterlies. I'm going to take the money and run and put it somewhere else. And, look how much of a devastating mistake that was for people, because Soundhound went well actually, and they didn't even talk about it, which is what's crazy. Like, they just came out with this massive quarterly, and we were like, where did this money come from? Because last year they really talked about deals. This year they've been really quiet. We've only heard about a select few this year. So the company's pushing into revenue like crazy. If they can finish the rest of this year between this high 30 million to low 40 million, or maybe they'll go further than that, this is going to remain a $11 to $15 stock all day. I mean, easily. I mean, it's going to remain around this time, this stock price. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sitting here with my jaw open, like, this is crazy what Soundhound has done here. I am completely just, I think if you're swing trading SoFi right now, Soundhound here, you're gonna do very well. You're gonna do very well with Soundhound, undoubtedly. It is, it's proven that essentially most of the year, but now more than ever, on good days with the market, this stock is going to run. I have no doubt that Soundhound can run back to $14 to $15 here very easily. 16, 17 being the ultimate, push right now, I think, unless we see some more aggressive, deals come out with it, something like that were to be made public. But right now, this is going to hold 10 to $14 till we get to the next quarterly here, 100%. It's a very interesting play right now, because it's in such new uncharted waters for them as a company, with revenue, deals, everything. And we're going into this paradox of just AI taking over everything. It really leaves a lot to be said that Soundhound could really find a pillar in all of this going into the future, where they're just going to be a very well-known company to continue to push into quarterlies. So yeah, I can't say enough good things about. I mean, this has been a great stock for me. I think it's been a great stock for a lot of people. So I'm not going to come in here and just badmouth it. I'm not going to do that whatsoever. So D-Wave, talking about this company so much. The CEO of D-Wave was actually just on Jim Cramer's show, and they were kind of going back and forth with some stuff. And of course, Jimmy's always going to push back on what he doesn't know about things, and that's totally fine. And I love Jimmy for that. But the thing right now, D-Wave here is obviously liking the fact what the rest of the market's liking rate cuts possibly coming. And right now, with crypto in general being such a hot topic with what's going on in this market, D-Wave undoubtedly is continuing to push into this conversation, because, D-Wave quantum computing, talking about how it, Lord knows I am not one to talk about quantum computing and logistics behind it, how it operates, what it does, and all that, but being supercomputer, all that kind of stuff, internet. The question is, is this going to hurt the crypto industry, or really just make it better to where, crypto industry, crypto market, to where it can really push crypto into new, places we haven't seen. The thing with a lot of this talk with, quantum computing is that I somewhat think that a lot of this is going to start turning out to be like government contract stuff. I don't think that quantum computing has had its moment in the market yet, because there's more than just D-Wave here. There's other quantum computing stocks, companies, but I think too we have not seen yet the big push right now for quantum computing in the market. I think it's very early right now. Obviously, there's probably a lot of agreement with that for many different reasons, but two, I think this could be like the next big thing with government contracts when it comes to, right now, a lot of the government contracts that we're seeing are like, data slash, pushing into defense with, security, stuff like that, cybersecurity. Really, D-Wave here, being integrated, its main bread and butter being this quantum computing situation. This, I do believe that this is going to have a moment in the market. Now, is that going to be in 2026, 2027? I don't know. But if the company can stay afloat here and keep producing okay quarterlies, head above water, everyone's happy. The atmosphere of the whole stock right now is like, hey, I want to get in now, and I'm not going to worry about what happens. I'm going to be here for the next few years because I think this could be the next big thing. At least I'll see this, I'll make it to the 40, 50 bucks with this stock here, just off the next, year, 2 years now, if I'm able to dump money into this. I think that's a lot of the anticipation right now with D-Wave, and that's totally fine. But I do think there is going to come a moment here where the market really picks up with a lot of quantum computing stocks. I just don't know that we've seen it yet, which is fine because, it still leaves a lot of, grab and go here for investors where they're able to, pick up shares of D-Wave or other quantum computing stocks. But, obviously D-Wave is one that I'm really interested in and I really like, been with it for a long time now. So, yeah, friends, that's I just want to make it short, sweet, to the point. I'm trying to keep these videos a little shorter on the second channel here. Some of them may be longer, but just wham bam, to the point, what I'm thinking, what I'm seeing, kind of bullet point process this out right now, and what's going on with just the logistics day to day on these stocks right now and where they're at. So yeah, friends, I want to thank you all so much for being here. I really do appreciate it, and I am excited about this market this week. We'll see what happens. Friends, take care. Bye, everyone.